Offensive line has been a huge issue. That was a huge talking point of Kirk Ferentz today. Lack of offensive line development. But again, who does that fall on? You cannot just blame injuries, because I can name at least 4 to 5 players in the last 4 years who have left or who have not developed like you'd want. Iowa had a fifth-year senior playing this year who was not good at all. And Dean brought up guys not knowing what they're doing. He was one of those guys at times that wasn't in the right place seemingly more often than not. So why isn't that fifth-year senior more ready? You go back to 2019, and I know they had not yet made the change with Chris Doyle and Barnett. They had a couple of, I think, fifth or sixth year guards that were underwhelming, to say the least. They've had a number of guys leave the program, transfer out of the program, and that's part of college football today. But if we're going to look at the offensive line, let's lay out the facts. It's not just, well, we're young. There's a reason why you're young. There's a reason when you say you're forced to play guys who weren't yet ready. That's a quote from Kirk Ferentz today. We were forced to play guys who weren't yet ready. So where were the guys that were supposed to be ready? Where were the guys from the 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020 classes? Some of them have had unfortunate occurrences injury-wise. Cody Ince, Justin Britt, those are facts. But believe me, it goes much further than just Britt and Ince. And I did a video, it was last fall, about the issues with the offensive line and where do those problems stem from. And it's hard to pinpoint, but you can just lay out the facts of what happened, and it's just a very odd series of events. And, you could point to Chris Doyle leaving. That may be a factor. George Barnett's not getting the job done. Ultimately, Brian Ferentz is the OC. He's a former offensive lineman himself. Kirk Ferentz himself. Kirk Ferentz is a former offensive line coach. So all of those factors are in play here. It's not just Brian Ferentz, but the buck stops with the head offensive coach. And if he's not being held accountable, then the head coach needs to be held accountable. And if he's not going to be held accountable, then it has to be the AD held accountable. Right now, there's very little accountability anywhere.